I think what inspired me to do my PhD was I wanted to make a difference in the world. I wanted to do research, do something that will contribute to the problem that I'm working on at the moment. So making a difference in the world was my inspiration to do a PhD.
What first inspired you to do a PhD?
Do you mean my inspiration to do PhD?
Yes.
The first thing that inspired me was my dissertation supervisor, Dr. Pritchard. Yeah, my dissertation was so good, he advised me to go ahead to do a PhD.
I think I started sort of thinking about it into my master's, actually, when I started my master's. And I suppose because I come from Ireland, I was the first person in my sort of family to go to university. And once I sort of came back to study again after being away from study for quite a while, so I did my degree in 2 years, then I stayed and did my master's. And it was almost like a progression from there, because I thought, well, why can't I do a doctorate? Why not? You know, be Dr. Jane Smith would be lovely.
I think the thing that inspired me to do the PhD was finding a subject that I was really passionate about. So my PhD comes out of some research that I did for my master's, and it was during that period that I was starting to see potential to extend the research, and there wasn't quite enough that I was able to do at the time in my master's. So it felt like a natural step to move on to do a PhD in order that I could continue that work.
I really enjoyed the research element of my undergrad. So that led me to do my Master of Research. I got really lucky in that there's a funded opportunity that came up that we knew was going to come up. So I tailored my Master's as good preparation for what was going to be coming up in my PhD. So I just enjoyed the research element. I got really lucky that the funded opportunity came up for my PhD.
I was inspired to, well, instead of saying PhD, more like research, during my final year of my undergraduate, where I got to help in a research centre doing autism research. And it's simply very fascinating, and I wanted to try more, like be more involved and basically have my own project. And then whilst I was looking for jobs after my undergraduate, I was like Googling, and I found this opportunity of doing autism research here, and I feel like that's my call, and I applied for it.
I think what first inspired me to do a PhD was when during my undergrad I did a summer internship in research, and I just loved it so much that I decided that's what I want to do. And if you want to work in research, quite often a PhD is the way to go.
Well, to be honest, it's not something I thought I'd do. I came back to university to do an undergraduate degree in psychology, and I just fell in love with it, and I realised that I wanted to be a lecturer. And it was in sort of researching that I realised I would have to have a doctorate to be a lecturer.
The thing that first inspired me to do a PhD was the research that I did as an undergraduate for my independent study. It really interested me so much, and I really wanted to do more and more research, and doing a PhD was the perfect opportunity to capitalise on that.
What first inspired me to do my PhD really was doing better in my degree, and then in my final year doing my a work project in the final year. My supervisor complimented me on my organisation and how I'd scheduled and managed my time, and said I should look at doing a PhD and a research degree as a PhD. And he offered to be my supervisor. It wasn't so much inspired me and actively went out and hunted it. It was a case of it happened to come to me, and I just thought, well, I'm not going to give this opportunity away, because that doesn't come to me ever. And so that's what inspired me to continue, was someone else believed in me, and I did better in my degree than I thought I would.
Driving force, I come from a family of academics.
I suppose the driving force is the passion. The passion for my subject is the most important part, because it's art-based. And I'm a maker, I'm a creator, and I believe in craft and I believe in skill. And the lack of, as I see it in society today, that frustrates me.
I think there are several driving forces behind doing a PhD. Some are personal and some are professional. So personally, I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to see that I was capable of doing something that would be really challenging intellectually, emotionally, psychologically. Also, I wanted to add some value to myself in terms of employability. So I wanted to feel like when I was applying for jobs that there was going to be some added value because I'd have demonstrated that I was capable of working at the level required for a PhD.
Driving force, again, it's just knowing that at the end of it, I would be able to help people who are really struggling at the moment. So my personal driving force for a PhD is the knowledge that I am contributing towards a problem, to help solve a problem that is currently there.
It was a challenge for sure taking on the PhD, and that's what has driven me to kind of do it. Not many people get the opportunity. I've been grateful in that regard, but not many people successfully finish them either. So the driving force behind it was just to complete it, to say that I've done it. Not many people get to do that, so I'm lucky and kind of determined to try and finish it now.
I guess for me, the driving force will be like working, because I work with families with autistic children. I see what they're going through, and it just really gives me that force behind to make sure they have a better quality of life. Their concerns are being raised, and we as researchers will help them with the resources we have to improve their living and their situations.